Hey everyone, welcome to Comics with Bueller. As always, I'm Bueller, and today is episode 114 of the brand new Coffee and Comic Show. And as you can see, I'm not alone. I got my good friend Bob here with me. Bob, how you doing?
Doing fantabulous, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, but I lost a tooth.
You did? Oh my gosh!
Look at that. Pull it out.
You didn't even tell me about that before we started.
I wasn't going to tell you. I was trying to keep it a secret. That's why I was like holding the thing over my mouth. Lost my tooth.
What happened, man?
That's the one that was bothering me.
Uh-huh.
And then finally I was eating pizza last night, and I felt a little like that. And I'm like, enough of that shit. So I got the pliers out and pulled the SOB out of there, man.
There
Boom.
you go, folks. No anchovies on the pizza. That's what happens.
Boom. Take it right out there.
Boom.
Feels a lot better.
Bueller and the needle nose,
We
man.
might have to switch sides, so I'll need my good side, you know. It's cosmetic, but I like that, right?
That's great, man. Maybe you can get the dentist to put a little cup in there. You have some coffee in there, like, you know, a little shot.
Perfect.
Anyway, I don't know.
There you go. Starting the day off right.
Starting it off right, man.
All right.
Surprised the heck out of me.
Let's go to the coffee that we're drinking today. Brought to you by Milk Express. It'll be great because the straw fits right there, so
There
it
you
works out pretty well. What are you drinking today?
I have a 4-shot iced cinnamon Americano with some sugar-free vanilla sweetener in it.
Yeah.
And it's tasty.
Awesome, man. Well,
Yeah.
I have a caramel frap.
Mm-hmm.
Put the straw right there. Perfect. Yeah, I'm not replacing that.
There you go.
I love it.
It's perfect.
Anyway, the coffee's awesome. It's always awesome. It's brought to you by Mocha Express, the official coffee shop of Comics with Bueller.
Mm-hmm.
And they're open. We went there last week.
Yeah,
we hung
we
out.
did.
We sat down. We met our friend Eric. We're actually going to read a comment of his later.
Sweet. Yeah, Eric was a good guy. That was a lot of fun.
Very nice. He's a transplant from California. Moved up here to the Portland area. So.
Most of us are.
Yeah, not me. I'm Portland.
No.
Born and bred, I guess. Can't you tell by missing the teeth?
Yep, exactly.
What's that supposed to mean?
When I came to Oregon, it was like going to England. I don't
Oh,
know.
my God. All right, enough of that stuff. Let's go ahead and get to a rundown of today's show. We have our first 5 brought to you by Comic Pro Line. We'll have our topic, which our topic is Comic Shop Appreciation Week.
Yeah.
We're actually going to read every single comic shop that was brought to our attention. We're not going to read every comment, but we're going to mention every single comic shop that was mentioned. So we have over 160 shops.
That's awesome.
That we are going to be shouting out today, and we're going to read a handful of comments, and we're going to try to get through it as fast as we can. But
Yeah.
it'll be a lot of work, but we're looking forward to it, right?
It'll be fun.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. And then we have our final 5 brought to you by Comic Pro Line. We'll also have Robbie's Pick of the Week from Pop Culture Philosophers. We'll have our Was It Good segment with the stuff we read and stuff we're reading next week.
Yep.
And then we'll have our random thoughts. We're going to talk about WandaVision, came to an end, series finale. They're done. They're not doing it anymore. It's not going to get picked up. Nobody watched that thing, right?
Right.
We're going to talk about the Bad Idea comic books. And I'm going to kind of address some things from last week's topic as well. Kind of a... what do you call it?
Addendum.
Addendum to what the topic was last week about the keys. A lot of people had comments on that.
Yeah.
And not everyone agreed with me, and I didn't expect them to, which is fine. And we'll kind of hit on that a little bit as well. But that's a rundown of what we got going on today's show. But the first thing we'd like to do is talk to you about our Patreons. And we got some new ones this week.
Woo!
So let me tell you, we got Jeremy Weymouth is one. Mike Knight is another. And Sherikov 2814, I probably butchered that. But we have 3 brand new Patreon members, so thank you to those 3 people for joining our Patreon. If you want to join our Patreon, it's $3.99 a month, the price of 1 comic book a month. If you think we bring the value worth 1 comic book a month, join the Patreon. Help me get a new tooth. I don't know. Gotta start somewhere, right?
Moving from chalupas
As
to
long
teeth.
as it doesn't affect my coffee drinking and chalupa eating ways, I don't care. Maybe it makes it simpler, right?
There you go. When you start drinking your chalupas through a straw, we got to draw the line there with
Yeah,
nobody.
that's the only thing I'm worried about. So thank you to the members of the Patreon. Like I said, if you guys want to join, you're more than welcome to. We also had some super chats last week. We had Thomas Jackman, who was like 6 weeks in a row now, which is awesome. We had our buddy, the Rogue Trader, with a super chat as well. And also the Two Brothers Comics had a super chat while we were trying to open their box, which we eventually got open, which is pretty
awesome.
cool. And
Thank you.
We're going to be showing off a book they sent us, so it's pretty cool. So.
For sure.
But I want to say thank you to the people giving our super chat. It helps us out quite a bit. Keeps the lights on, keeps the cameras rolling, keeps everything going. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's see. There's a couple things I want to talk about before we get going. And I want to spotlight a new YouTube channel that just came to my attention. And I have a job for everyone watching. Because our goal is to get this channel to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the week. And the reason why is because it's a great channel.
It's amazing.
It's a very good channel. It's worth your time. It's a brand new channel. They literally have one video. They've got around 200 subscribers. The channel name is called Comic Book Food Chain. And I will leave a link down below and in the comments. And it's also a featured channel on my homepage, so it's pretty easy to find. But it's called Comic Book Food Chain. And let me tell you a little bit about what it is. Frank Gogol, who is a creator, he's kind of running the show. He how they have it, they have a creator, Frank, who did Dead End Kids and No Heroin and some other stuff as well. And then they have a comic shop owner also on the panel. And then they have a collector on the panel. So 3 stages, that's kind of the food chain of how comics work. And then they have special guests every week. This last week on their first show, they had John Boy Myers on. That's a pretty good first guest.
That's a pretty good first guest.
Frank Gogol has connections.
Yeah.
So he's going to have some pretty cool guests on there. And they're giving stuff away every time they hit a milestone of subscribers, like 200, 400, 600, 800, all stuff autographed by Frank. And I think they had some stuff autographed by John Boy that they're giving away as well. So do me a favor, go check out the channel. I know you're going to like it. You can watch the first one. Like I said, they have one episode. I think they're doing it every Tuesday evening is the live stream. It's called Comic Book Food Chain. Tell them Bueller sent you. So in their video, go to the comments after you subscribe. Just write in there, Bueller sent me.
There you go.
Just flood it with them. He'll get so sick of it. Like, God, you know. Anyway.
I love the concept, though.
Yeah, it's an awesome the first episode was great. It was great. It's like they've been doing it for a long time. The production value is good. You can tell they're putting some effort into it. And it's worth your time. And I don't say that a lot about channels.
You don't.
But it's one episode in, it's easily one of my top favorites right now.
There you go. That's
so pretty
awesome.
Cool. We also have another something spotlight. You want to kind of mention this a little bit?
Sure. Our buddy Eric from the Rogue Trader, he's a partner of my channel, Everything Comics. He has a website called theroguetraderutah.com. He does pressing and cleaning. He sells comic books, but right now he's got a couple of exclusives that he's offering that he's partnered in, and one of them actually features an art piece of him on the cover, which I just love.
Yeah.
And the first one I think is called Bleak Heaven.
Bleak Heaven, that's correct.
And what was the second one's name?
Herald Journey.
Herald Journey.
Yes.
And you can get both of them at theroguetraderutah.com. Go over there and give them some love. These exclusives are awesome.
Yeah.
And you can get them right there on their website. Just go under Rogue Trader exclusives and you'll find them there.
Yeah.
And then also the Rogue Trader also has a YouTube channel. He's just started out. He's putting out some great comic book content. So go check out his channel as well.
Yeah, and these are done by local creators.
Yes.
In his area, in the Utah area. And he does a lot of stuff for charity as well.
He does.
And I'm pretty sure part of the proceeds to these books are going to charity from what I've heard in the past.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. But like I said, he's done a lot of stuff for charity in the past. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some portion of this going to that.
Absolutely. I think they're having a signing with the artist. And at that signing, the proceeds from that event will be also going to charity. I forget what the charity is.
Yeah.
But he does a lot, not just for the comic book community, but humanitarian efforts as well, which is amazing.
And these are very limited. These are like less than like 100 copies.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So it's not like there's a ton of them. I think he might have even told me there was only 50 copies of his variant. I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, check them out. The link will be down below also, and you can find it in the comments as well. So go find it, buy some exclusive comics from the roguetraderutah.com.
Yeah.
And support a fellow comic community member.
Absolutely.
Okay, we got that?
We got that.
All right, let's go to our first 5, brought to you by Comic Pro Line. And guess what, Bob?
What?
You're up first.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
I recently I bought a lot of What Ifs, and so here's some more from that lot. And I got number 14, which is What If Sergeant Fury had fought World War II in outer space. Then I got the What If Spider-Man's clone had lived.
People like that new camera angle.
I can tell. This one is What If Ghost Rider, Spider-Woman, and Captain Marvel were villains? Like that one. This is What If the Vision had destroyed the Avengers?
How many books are you showing?
I'm doing 5.
Okay, that's fine.
And this is the 5th one, which is What If Iron Man Lost the Armor Wars?
Oh, that's
so there's my first 5.
That's awesome. First 5, man.
I think so.
Yeah, look right down there.
Hey,
We've got a winner.
there we go.
All right, I got my first 5.
All right, what you got?
I always like these classic X-Men covers. I don't know if you remember collecting them, but they made original covers for them.
Yeah.
And here is number 30. This was always one of my favorites. That's Wolverine chopping off. Here we go. Hulk's head. Here's another one featuring Wolverine and Nightcrawler, number 45. Classic X-Men. Here is Iron Man number 3. Just want to show you some of my early issues.
Yeah.
And here is number 2 right there.
Nice.
And of course, the newest one to the family, brought to you guys by Two Brothers Comics, is number 1. This was the amazing gift that they sent our way last week in a box that they didn't want us to open.
Right.
But we were able to figure it out eventually. And there it is. So you don't have to wait an hour and a half for the video to play to see it.
Right.
You're seeing it within the first 10 minutes of this one. So there you go. So thank you.
Two Brothers, thank you.
There you go. Two Brothers, thank you so much. We're going to leave this on display the whole time we're talking about our topic today. But I think it's pretty awesome. So there you go. That's our first 5.
It's a great first
brought
5.
to you by Comic Pro Line. Let's go ahead and switch gears and go ahead and go with our topic.
Sure.
And our topic is brought to you by Blackbox Comics. You can go to our website, blackboxcomics.net, enter the code Bueller10, save 10% off Shino Kaji, KG, doesn't matter.
Shino Kage.
Kage, I got it right. I said exactly what he just said. Or Devil's Dominion, whatever you want, or some of the other stuff as well.
Yeah.
Psycho List, there's a bunch of really cool stuff.
Some good stuff
there you
there.
go. But our topic today is comic shop appreciation. And we got 6 pages of stuff to read to you guys.
Let's do it.
So what we did was we picked out some comments, then we picked out 20 shops, and then we did another comment, another 20 shops. So we're going to read the first comment. We'll do a little banter back and forth, kind of what we normally do. It's kind of how it works. And then we'll read 20 shops really fast, and then we'll do another comment and read another 20 shops real fast.
Sounds good.
We did abbreviate the names of you guys a little bit. So if your name is Patrick Stewart, we just put Patrick S.
There we go.
Just to speed stuff up as much as we can, okay? Oh my God. Took me 5 or 6 hours to put this together. Bob just shows up.
I did.
All right, I'm up first. This is from Star Wars Fiend. It says, Legends, Comics, and Coffee, located in Omaha, Nebraska, sets the bar. The shop has won the Eisner Award for comic shops, but it's more than that. The shop knows your name by the 3rd time you come in with a poll file. They go out of their way to get to know you as a person, not a customer. They have a tremendous coffee bar as well, and Bob would love the Dr. Doom latte they do.
Woo!
That's pretty cool. We have other good shops in Omaha as well, but none go out of the way like this one does.
That's awesome.
I'm sold.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, they got coffee there. There's a few of them like that.
Yeah.
That were brought to our attention in this list. But you combine the two, you throw in Chalupa. I'd never leave. I'd never leave.
Chalupa Copy and Comic Shop, Triple C, man.
Yeah, that's all right. That's coming soon, 2022.
There we go.
All right, now's the part when I read 20 comic shops in a row.
There we go.
All right, I'm going to do my best. So, if I pronounce the names wrong, tough. I do that all the time. You're used to it by now, right? Okay. This is from AI. It says, my LCS is Craven Comics at 349 Upland Square Drive, Ponston, Pennsylvania. Awesome. Paul H. says, my LCS is Comic Book University in Indianapolis. Dat guy Brandon says, I would love to shout out my LCS. And it is the comic book shop owned and run by the beautiful Sarah. Discounts, here I come. Look at that. He's trying to butter her up there. In Wilmington, Delaware. DC Dude says, my LCS is Amazing Stories in Saskatchewan, something, Canada. There you go. Bumpkins TV, my LCS. Infinity Flux in Chattanooga, Tennessee is an amazing shop. Henry S. Comics and Games, Florence, Kentucky is my favorite comic shop. Comic Book Therapy says, hey guys, my shop is Looking for Heroes located in Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. Tone N says Interstellar Comics and Desert Oasis Comics, both LCSs are located in Palm Springs, California. Kirby says my comic shop is named Tales of Tomorrow, and they're located in Farmington, New Mexico. Mike K. LCS is in Sydney, Australia, named The Comic Shop, Liverpool. Joel W. says LCS is Big B Comics in Canada's Stilltown, Hamilton, Ontario. John T. says, my LCS is Coliseum of Comics in Lakeland, Florida. I went to one of their shops. Austin and Vicky Moore says my LCS is Dark Side Comics here in the little old Crawfordville, Florida. One Shot Comics says Crossroads Comics and Collectibles, Pittman, New Jersey. Funky Sloth Comics says Enterprise Comics, Keene, New Hampshire. James A. says my shop is Rookies in Lowell, Michigan. Billy O. says my LCS is America's Heroes Comics and Games in Killeen, Texas. Mark M. says Page 45, Nottingham, England, the best around. Trade Paper Dad, my personal favorite comic shop is Lone Star Comics, located in Arlington, Texas. Anton M. says Classic Comics, Rahway, New Jersey. There's the first 20. Jesus. This was a mistake. No, this is fun.
This is awesome.
One of these days, I'm serious. I want to visit all these shops.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, you know, you have all these, you know, great addresses here.
I've got all the information I've ever needed.
A map with some push pins, and, you know where they're all at.
Yeah, I just go to, I remember I shouted you guys out one time.
I love it.
Bob, guess what, dude?
What?
I'm taking a sip of coffee, and you're next.
All right, sounds good. All right, so this next comment comes from a good friend of ours, Mr. God Tank. Thank you, sir. He says, hey, Roadhouse and Bullseye. I just wanted to shout out my comic shop, new Gotham Newsstand with Peter and William and crew here in San Antonio, Texas, and also Dragon's Lair Comics and Fantasy with Bob and crew. Always have the best prices and really take care of their regulars and will welcome any new people in like family.
Now,
Love
see,
that.
he had to sneak in two.
He did.
And some people did that. Some
Yeah.
people even tried to do 3. I cut him off at 2.
We have a bunch here in Portland we could shout out too. But here we go. We're going to start just reading some shops here.
Have fun.
Yeah. So this first one comes from Paolo E. He says Paradox Comics in North Arlington, New Jersey. We got Ronald H. He says Atomic Comics in Tacoma, Washington. I will be up there soon.
Nice.
Paulo R. says my LCS is Image Collections in Mississauga, Ontario. Bobby D says Clint's Comic Books and Games at 3943 Main Street, Kansas City, Missouri. And then it says did not leave name. What is that?
Didn't leave the name of the shop.
I thought it was Clint's Comics, Books, and Games.
Yeah, I had to find it for him.
Oh!
He just left the address and I had to
You're
go look
good.
it up. Yeah.
Now we know why it took him 5 hours.
Yeah.
Richard D says Cashman's Comics in Bay City, Michigan. William R says Collector's Corner located in Baltimore, Maryland on Hartford Road. There, you're giving some directions there. J Monty Comics says Comic Warriors in Keller, Texas. Ty Garth says my LCS was Comic Book ER in Cadillac, Michigan. I love some of these names.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Next one is Spectacular Spider Grandpa. Love that name. He says my LCS is Trilogy Comics in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Then we have AJW, and he says my LCS is Kessel Run Comics in Elizabethtown, North Carolina.
I like that one.
That's a great one. KHC says shout out to Bob and Landon over at Aquiona Comics in Troy, New York. I think that's how you say it.
That's good enough.
There you go. Patrick L says JC's Comics and More, your pop culture superstore in Toledo, Ohio.
It
Got a little catchy
Yeah,
there.
that's good.
Dave P says Zap Comics in Manalapan, New Jersey is my LCS for years now. James W says Fat Jack's Comic Crypt in Philadelphia, PA. I gotta visit that place.
Yeah.
And this was co-branded. My LCS is Flying Colors Comics and other cool stuff in Concord, California.
Nice.
Big O. My shop is the Comic Spot in Riverview, Florida. Comics in Colorado with Corey says my LCS is I want more comics and games in Thornton, Colorado. I know a lot of people in Thornton. Dylan, you son of a bitch.
That's his name, dude.
All right.
I didn't even abbreviate that one.
Yeah, you did. I wonder if that's our Dylan.
I don't know.
Undercity Comics in Whittier, California. Bay.
Nice.
This guy's name is Disfool Be Lion. My two favorite LCS is Gail at Liberty Comics of Roseville, Michigan, and Dan at Comics Corner of Fraser, Michigan. And then Michael K says, my LCS is All American Comics located in Warren, Ohio.
That's
20 down, buddy.
There you go. We're doing it.
Good stuff.
All right, I got the next one here, and then 20 more after that.
All right.
This is from Ryan Squirrel, I think.
Squire.
Squire, there we go. Says, huge shout out to my LCS Crunch Comics located in Reading, the UK. Awesome. It's the best comic shop I've ever been to. Brian, who owns it, works super hard, especially over the past year, as many stores will know, even during the pandemic. If there's a book out there, he will get it for you. Brian has become a great friend over the years, and I would like to say a big thank you for helping the community thrive and connect in our town. Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Comic shops can do that, man.
That's exactly right.
Shy, hey, do you watch Comics with Bueller? Yeah, so do I. We should get together and watch it.
That's awesome, but showing some love to the UK. Crunch Comics.
We've got a ton of shops from outside the United States.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Our audience is worldwide. So
Worldwide.
That's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Yep. All right.
All right.
Here we go. 20. Okay. Jeff E. says Fantasy Shop located in South St. Louis County. Joseph S. says I get my comics at Comics Factory in Pasadena, California. Mark B. says Fat Moose Comics in Wimpany, I don't know, New Jersey. Great owner. Zach H. says Wizards Asylum Comics and Games located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Knighting 178 says Forbidden Planet in New York is my shop. Awesome. KCJ says my favorite comic shop is Horizon Comics located in Lancaster, California. Steve W. says Comic Books Addiction in Whitby, Ontario, Canada. Patrick M. says World's Greatest Comics in Columbus, Ohio. Joseph V. Comic Book World in Louisville, Kentucky. There you go. Big David said my favorite comic shops are Comic Club and Read More Comics based in Tampa. Awesome. Amanda S. Whenever you're in Shreveport, Louisiana, stop by Excalibur Comics. Will do. Mark D. A and S Comics in Tanique, New Jersey is my LCS. Martin H. says A1 Comics, Sacramento, California. The Comic Drift says Richards Comics and Collectibles in Greensville, South Carolina. Mr. Randman 91 Comic Collection and Records 2 over in Bustaton Avenue in Festerville. Okay, next page. Rolling right along here.
Rolling right along.
Headless Hammerhead says Phil Comic Shop in Margate, Florida. David says Comic Shop in Anchorage, Alaska. Bosco's Comics. Nice. Robbie K. Carol and John's Comic Book Shop in Cleveland, Ohio. And Kid Force Collectibles in Beera, Ohio. Beera? I don't know. Brenton S. says my LCS is New Dimensions Comics in Homestead, Pennsylvania. And Stephen Rock says, longtime viewer, first-time writer, my LCS is Excellent Adventure, Boston Spa, New York.
That's awesome.
There you go, man. There's another 20. There's 60 down.
There's 60 down.
Give me a break.
It's a lot of fun, though. I mean, I love hearing all the names. I love that, people took the time to shout out their comic shop.
Yep.
A lot of great comic shops out there.
We're setting the record, by the way.
There we go.
For how many comic shops we shout out.
There we go. Come here. Let's do it.
Something, I don't know. It's got to be something, right?
That's right. I don't think anybody's done that before.
Nope.
All right, the next one comes from Matthew Denton. He says, A to Z Comics in Blue Springs, Missouri. I am in my late 30s now, and I've been going there ever since I was a kid. It's one of the few, as far as I can tell, women-owned and operated stores. The owner, Debbie, started the store as a bookstore, but the comics and card games portion grew till it pretty much took over the store. Awesome. She's a super nice lady, and since I've been going there pretty much my entire life, her store feels more like family than just a store.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. And
there's a couple of shops in Portland that are owned by some ladies.
The oldest comic shop here in Portland is Excalibur Comic,
Yep.
and the owner there is Debbie. She inherited it from her father.
Yeah.
And I think Books with Pictures
yeah.
is also.
Yep.
And but that's awesome. And a good LCS should feel like home. It really should. And there are a few out here that you can walk into, and they'll always remember your name, no matter how few times or how many times you go in there at all, right?
Sometimes I don't want to remember your name.
It's true, too. That's a story for a different time.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. First one is Ganjabar's Medium. He says, Digital Heroes in Walla Walla, Washington.
Nice.
John S. I found Disc Heroes located just barely south of Division and 162nd. That's right. Disc Heroes does have comic books there.
That's
and
right.
also Disc Golf.
Disc golf, yeah. It's like a weird combination.
It is. Dennis B. Heroes Comics in sunny London, Ontario. John M. says, Heroes Comics is the best. Of course, there's no location there. DJ Renzo says, the Tangled Web located in Spartanburg, South Carolina. I'm sure Sam would love that shop.
Yeah.
Then we have Tommy N. And thank you for this one.
Yeah.
The comic shop is Laukantoren Antividikaradi in the city of Tampere, Finland. I know I butchered that.
Dude, that was awesome.
But I got through it.
Yeah, whatever.
O'Shea Outdoors, Pacific Northwest. My LCS is Things from Another World in Beaverton, Oregon.
There you go.
That's awesome. Michael M. Samurai Comics in Tempe, Arizona. Tiger Tales 2, Arsenal Comics in Ventura, California. I know that shop very well.
Nice.
I used to live in Thousand Oaks, California. And then Jimmy D says, rightfully named The Comic Shop in Wilmington, Delaware. S. Vaughn 82 says, my favorite LCS is Infinity Flux in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Then we have Jeff Pearl Jam says, my shop is Big Easy Comics in Covington, Louisiana. And then Papa Ken says, the shop itself is called Comic Book Emporium in Columbia, Tennessee. Then we have Ernie H. He just says mycomicshop.com.
Easy.
That's great.
Yeah. It's a shop.
It's a shop.
It
That's
works.
right. Louis R. says, my shop is called Continental Comics, and they are located in Granada Hills, California. David P. says, my LCS is a small shop in Smyrna, Georgia, called Titans Games and Comics. Then we have Ed B., and he says, the closest one to me is 3 hours away in Wichita, Kansas. That would be Prairie Dog Comics. Sorry you have to go so far to get your comics, but...
Prairie Dog
I
Comics.
know. But we do have a lot of online options now, so you don't have to go like 3 hours. But Tim D says, my comic shop of choice is a Vortex Comics in West Allis, Wisconsin. Ricky S says, the first Outer Limits in Waltham, Mass. And the next shop is Rubber Chicken Comics in Bellingham, Mass.
Nice.
Yeah. Howard G says, Ace Comics and Games in Queensland, Australia. All right.
My turn.
Another 20 down.
My turn. Oh, I can't wait till we get to the Was It Good segment.
Give my voice a break.
All right, this one is from Elo Him. It says, hey guys, my LCS names are Interstellar Comics in Palm Springs, California, Comics Asylum in Palm Desert, California, and Desert Oasis Comics in Palm Desert, California. This is from Guy. These glasses aren't doing me any favor at all.
You want mine?
No. Guy M says, Friendly Neighborhood Comics UK is the name of my local comic book store. Javon J says, Rick's Comic City in Nashville, Tennessee. I like turning the pages. Comic Book Business News says, Adventureland store when I need a book. It's Blackwood, New Jersey. Okay, there you go. Aussie S says, is that right?
Oasis S.
Oasis S says, my comic shop is awesome. It's called The Fortress of Solitude in Newark, New Jersey. Ronnie Boy says, my LCS is Comic Zone PH, located in Amuse City in the Philippines. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Christian M says, Far Side Comics in Montreal, Canada. Efren E says, the 10th Planet in Skernville, something, Indiana. I'm sorry. Crypt Keeper says, my LCS is Granite City Comics in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Awesome. Andrew L says, my main LCS is Sterling Silver Comics in Camarillo, California. Like his hometown or something like that. I don't know. Blast by Night, Quality Comics in Montgomery, Alabama. I think that's it. Mm-hmm. Ernesto V says, my LCS is Comics and Stuff in Carlsbad, California. The Night Driver says, Galaxy Comics in Winnipeg, Canada, James W. says, Zap Comics, Wayne, New Jersey, great service, super back issues. Lewis S. says, my LCS is Mundo Phantasm and is located in Porto, Portugal. Awesome.
Wow, that's awesome.
Buggerlug says, Minotaur Comics in Melbourne, Australia. Was that the second one we've heard from Australia? I don't know.
Third or fourth one, I think.
Music Students, my shop is Comics Corner in Rochester, Michigan. Mr. Rock and Roll says, my favorite local shop is Comic Traders, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Fable says, my comic shop is a shop I've never been to, G-Mart Comics in Chicago. He orders from them. I read it. It was pretty cool. Brian G says, my LCS is Players Comics located in Moreno Valley, California. And Ryan M, my main LCS is Sanctuary Books and Games in Irving, Texas. There's my 20.
There you go.
Man.
It's getting harder to get through them.
It is. Yeah.
But there we go. It's another 20 down. A lot of great shops there.
Yeah.
And,
That's a different question. Like, what's your favorite publisher, Marvel or DC? Marvel, DC.
We just have 2 long comments and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. All right. So this next one comes from Eric Rigsby. He says, what a great question and a timely one for me.
That's Eric.
Eric?
That's the Eric we had.
Oh, that's Eric. Hey,
yeah,
Eric. That's awesome. He says, I moved last month to Portland, Oregon from Oakland, California. I'll be going back to California once a month for non-comic book reasons, so I will be keeping the same LCS I had prior to my move, which is Cape and Cow Comics in Oakland, California. Eaton, the owner, Kevin, the assistant manager, and Cody, the mutant menace, are amazing. They are so amazing that not even tax-free Oregon could get me to leave them.
He liked that tax-free stuff.
That's awesome. He said, I was back in California last weekend, and it was great to swing by the shop, see the team, and pick up my books. The relationship between a person and their comic shop is nothing like I have experienced. It's truly magical.
Yeah,
it really can be.
It can.
You know,
sometimes it's a nightmare.
Sometimes it's a nightmare. We got stories, y'all. I love it.
But I wonder if Eric would make an appearance on the show.
That would be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, he said he did a little bit of YouTube stuff for gaming.
He did.
Yeah, so maybe we could convince him to come on and sharing some comic knowledge with us or something.
Yeah,
like
man,
that.
That'd be awesome.
He's a DJ. Maybe we get a little DJ booth in the corner there. We got room right back there.
If you're sitting here talking comics, Eric's on the 1s and 2s, man. We just go for it.
1s and 2s. Speaking of 1s and 2s, you got 20 to go. Go for it.
There we go. All right. The first one comes from Philip J. He says, my local comic shop is Dragon Quills in Gadsden, Alabama. Cormega 29 says Crunch Comics. I wonder if it's the same Crunch Comics that's in England.
I think so, maybe.
Dennis A. says Nuclear Comics in Laguna Hills, California. Great service and variety of comics. James L. says, my local comic shop is Comic Hero University in Fullerton. I think he's meaning California. Next one is Eric the Red. He says, hey, Bueller, my LCS is an amazing shop in Alaska, Aegis Comics.
They have a YouTube channel as well.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, they do a good job.
Nice. AJW, Coastal Comics, Surfside Beach, South Carolina. Andrew M., Chuck's Comics in Essex, Maryland. And then we got Milvet Comics. I go to Liberty Comics in Roseville, Michigan. It's a veteran-owned and operated by Gale.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. David C. is King Kong Comics in Pleasanton, California. Big Dad 138 says, shout out to Altered States Comics in Clarkson, Ontario. Then we got, let's see.
Pad Bear J.
My LCS is Friendly Neighborhood Comics in Newport, Wales. Oh, we got somebody from Wales. Pretty awesome.
Everywhere. It's like that YouTube thing goes all around the world.
All around the world. We got Chamorro C. Bueller. My LCS is the Gamers Den in Cambridge, Minnesota. Nice. Is that the same Chamorro that has the YouTube channel?
I don't know.
I think it is.
Okay.
Joe E. says, my LCS is called EPO. It's based in Eindhoven in the Netherlands. That's awesome. You give me all the hard ones, man.
That's not the way it worked out.
Okay. Next one is Nogales Punk Rock. He says, my local comic shop is Fantasy Comics in Tucson, Arizona. Then we got Todd 2935. He says, North Louisville, Kentucky, Comic Book World and Heroes and the Destination. And we got Deep House Gent We has Graham Cracker Comics. They're a chain in Illinois.
I like that.
Not too many chains out there. I love that. Yeah. And then we got Comics Are Great. He says, my fantastic LCS is Royal Collectibles, located in Woodhaven, Queens, New York. Next one is Brett5569. He says, my LCS I go to is called Graham Cracker Comics, which is located in Downers Grove, Illinois.
Didn't somebody just say that?
I think so.
Yeah, Deep House Gent. Hey, Brett and Deep House go to the same shop.
Does it look like that?
Look at that. Friends.
Elon S. says, my comic shop is Comics Factory in Pasadena, California. And then Fanboy Russ says, my LCS is Big Bang Comics and Games in Owensboro, Kentucky. Woo!
There you go. Awesome, man.
Yeah, it is.
We're rolling around. She doesn't not taking too long.
I may need one of your cough drops after a while.
Just a lot of reading. All right. How about this is from Simon R. He says, well, first off, another great video of upcoming releases. I follow along and take screenshots of the ones I will need to remember later. Very cool. Second, since I've gotten back into comics, it's been about 1 year. I haven't really had a brick and mortar shop to visit and call my LCS. For obvious reasons, COVID. So most of my shopping online would be Midtown since I'm in New York City, and Things from Another World, or TFA, I would say are the two main ones I use. But if anyone has any ideas of a great local Brooklyn, New York comic shop, I would gladly try and make that my main go-to for my comics. So there you go. If anyone's watching, you know something around Brooklyn, New York, which I'm sure there's tons of, that you can recommend that's a pretty good shop, Simon R. is looking for one.
Absolutely. I know a comic book collector that lives near Brooklyn. I will ask him, and Simon, I'll leave a comment on next to your comment, and I'll let you know what I find out.
Look at that. We're providing a service. All right. Hey, this is my last 20.
All right.
That's pretty cool.
In the home stretch.
Whew, okay. All right. Here we go. Redbeard Boss says, drawn to comics in Glendale, Arizona. Nick Key says, gravity damage in San Antonio, Texas. Brandon A. says, my LCS is Curious Comics in Victoria, BC. Michael H. Capitan Quebec Comics in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. East Coast Killer, Paper Heroes and Border City Comics. I'm that guy. My comic shop is Stargazer Comics, located in Tacoma, Washington. We need to go there.
Yeah.
I think I might have went there and they were closed. Ross J. My two favorite LCSs would have to be Clint's Comics and A to Z Comics, and these are in Missouri, I believe. Billy B. says, my shop is amazing. Spiral in Baltimore at 5851 York Road. There you go. We got the address and everything. I'm going to send them some stuff. God in 3RU says, hey guys, my shop is Gemma Comics located in Greece. That's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Dream,
love the name, by the way.
Yeah, Dream Eater 99, Telegraph Art and Comics in Charlottesville, Virginia. Sean M. My LCS is Comics Central in Sanford, Florida. Craig M. says Village Comics on Sullivan, downtown New York. Now I use websites. He doesn't go there; he just use websites now, or maybe their website. Thomas R. says J&J Comics in Thornton, Colorado is my LCS.
Another one from Thornton.
There you go. The Rogue Trader that here he's got his own thing going on there. My LCS is Black Cat Comics located in beautiful Sugar House area of Salt Lake City, Utah. Nova 69 says my LCS is Big B Comics in Barrie, Ontario. Spencer W says my main LCS is Cosmic Comics here in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. Telmo G says my comic shop is the brilliant Kingpin Books in Lisbon, Portugal.
Wow.
All over the place. Aaron M says Richmond, Indiana Comic Relief. Eric S says Coliseum of Comics at the new Tampa, Florida store. I've been to that store. It's cool.
Really? That's awesome.
Chris C says Red Nails 2 and Gotham City Comics in Ontario. And that's it. That was my last 20, man.
You did good, man.
I have a couple extra on my list at the end that just made it in here after you're done with yours.
So you're not done then?
I'm not done. But anyway, I feel so much better now.
Yeah.
So much better.
But shout out to all the comic shops, man. This is awesome. Okay, so the next one comes from Damian Diamond. He says, Gotham Central in Mississauga, Ontario. The best shop I've ever been to. So we got Gen Expectations. He says, my LCS is Flying Colors in Concord, California. Scott T says, my LCS is Carolina Comics in Lawton, Oklahoma. Jonathan B says, Fantasy Factory in Dalton, Georgia. Robert C says, all the way from Romford, England, please give it up for Comics and Fantasy, best shop known to man. Cheers, my friend.
That's awesome.
Hillbilly Comics says, my comic shop is Purple Earth Comics in Huntington, West Virginia. Keith N, he says, Connecticut has some great shops. Shout out to Alternate Universe, Milford, and New Haven, and Richie's in Waterbury. Dreddy M says, Carol and John's Cam's Corner, Cleveland for me. Then John M says, Midtown Comics. I know that one.
There you go.
Aki says, my favorite comic shop used to be Gauche in London. Used to be. What is it now?
Goosh.
Okay, so Ashley J says, Comics Factory, 1298 East Colorado Boulevard in Pasadena, California. Rafe says, my LCS is Fox Comics and Games in beautiful downtown Marion, Illinois.
Nice.
Hulking War Machine, he says, Undercity Comics in Uptown Whittier, California. James P, Fortress of Solitude in Newark, New Jersey. Great group working there. Then we have Geeks and Drinks says, Iron Lion and Muse Comics. Love these two shops here in Colorado Springs. Jesus R says, my LCS is in Odessa called The Hive.
Nice.
I love Hive Comics. Rob 4 says, Comic Spot in Riverview, Florida is awesome. And then we have Chris B. Chris B says, my favorite LCS is Fantasy Realm, located in Cornwall, Ontario, Canada.
We're so close.
I know. Jeff S says, Galaxy Comics and Collectibles, 1143 Henderson Highway in Winnipeg, MB. I don't remember what MB is. Fernando T says, this one's for James at the Comics Lounge located in Escondido, California. D Metz, how you doing, D? Says AA Comics and Cards in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Andrew M says, my shout out goes to Comic Stop in Dubai, United Arab Emirates.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Dude, look at you.
Mick Moe says, hi, Bueller and Bob. I'd like to say thanks to Coffee and Comics in Belfast. Well, look at that. We have Coffee and Comics in Ireland. Love it.
So we started and we finished with a coffee one.
That's awesome.
That is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Now, just to show you guys how up to date this is, I checked my phone as he was reading this to see if there was any more comments left. Right now, it is noon. So this is as of noon Saturday. So if you got your comment in after noon on Saturday, it's not on the video, obviously. But a couple of the ones that did make it in are from Barbie Taylor, says Comics Plus in Richmond, Kentucky. And Joseph B says Comic Store West in York, Pennsylvania. There you go.
That's
up
awesome.
to date, noon Saturday.
That's awesome. So thank you to all the comic shops. Appreciate you very much. And I know there are so many more comic shops that are out there. I know it's that was a lot of reading.
That was a lot of stuff, man. I was up all night putting that list together.
Yeah, you did.
I was sitting there, I woke up like, oh, I gotta do this list. Because usually it only takes me a couple hours. This one took me like 6 hours to do.
That's awesome. And you were wounded too.
Yeah, it fell out during that, man. I was eating pizza while I was doing that. Also,
oh my gosh. Well, where'd you get your pizza from, man?
it's a frozen pizza. But it was,
that's why. You should have to cook it before you
no,
eat
I
it.
cooked it. It was fine. It was. I knew it was going to come out eventually.
When it's frozen, it kind of, it can break your teeth, man.
Anyway, back to the shops. So, I mean, congratulations to all the shops that got shout outs. You guys are awesome. You guys have some dedicated customers that really enjoy you. So if you're a shop and you're watching this, know that your customers think of you quite a bit. They wanted to share you guys with us, and we wanted to share you guys with everyone else who's watching. So hopefully it just kind of goes around, and maybe some people find some shops they didn't know were in their area. So.
There we go.
All right, let's go to our final five, and brought to you by Comic Pro Line, and I will go first this time.
All right.
So let me take these down. Let's see, I have some older back issues. Fantastic Four, number 250, with like all the other superheroes on there, like the Avengers and X-Men and stuff. Shogun Warrior, number 1. Look at that.
I used to have that book, man.
They kind of did something on that crossover to where it was like the homage to that cover or something like Here is Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man 66. I just like this cover. It's kind of busy, but it's kind of cool looking. G.I. Joe number 20. This is the Image Run, and the Image Run, really great artwork. I don't know if you ever saw any of them, but just the covers and the inside artwork for the G.I. Joe run that they did was really nice. And we'll finish off with the DC, because I have to show a DC. People get mad. This is Batman, Curse of the White Knight, and I love Joker, and he's on the front cover. So we got some Joker action. I don't know if it's a variant or the regular. I don't know. Anyway, that's my final 5.
Great final 5.
Now you have 5, right?
I do.
All right, let me set mine down.
All right. So, rounding it out, I brought some Daredevil love today. When do I not? So, first one is Daredevil number 225 with some Vulture action there. We got number...
You didn't peek into the camera when I was showing.
I didn't. Hi. Number 333.
That was weird. Don't say that ever again.
I won't. Daredevil number 339 with some Kingpin action.
Hi.
Daredevil 338. There we go. Hello. And then Daredevil 334 with the costume that I don't like, but it's still a good issue.
There you go.
There's my final 5.
Look at that. So some good final 5 and brand new camera angle to show off the goodness. Everyone likes it, so there you go. Great final 5 brought to you by Comic Pro Line. Appreciate that. But you know what? We can't waste any more time because people want to know what Robbie's pick is. So let's go to Robbie's pick of the week.
Hey everybody, I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups from Pop Culture Philosophers. You're checking out the Coffee and Comics show on Comics with Bueller, and my pick of the week is...
Swamp Thing, number 1 by DC Comics. And, of course, Robbie has a great pick here. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I tell you what I did do. I was able to catch Robbie's interview with Rom V this last week. Great interview on Pop Culture Philosophers. If you haven't seen that, go check it out.
Yep.
Awesome interview with the writer of the book. Have you got a chance to read this?
I didn't. My LCS didn't get their DC books. They were delayed a couple days. I think they have them now, so I need to go get it. But you guys know I read the first 2 Swamp Things for the Future State. That's the only Future State I read, and I really enjoyed them. And from what Robbie said, this one was just as good as those were. It's a brand new Swamp Thing character, so I'm pretty excited to learn more about that character.
For sure.
And, you know, he gets infected with the swampness. And he's down with the swampness.
He's down with the swampness.
There you go. And Ron V's pretty cool. He's going to be writing a really cool book here coming up called Radio Apocalypse.
Yep.
Be on the lookout for that one, folks. You're going to love it. I know you will. Trust me, I know you will.
Absolutely.
So there you go. That's a pretty good pick. It's by Robbie, obviously, Pop Culture Philosophers. Go check out his channel. He's got his reviews come out every Tuesday. He's back on track now because there's no delay, so it's awesome to have that video on Tuesday nights. But it's a great channel. We love it. We watch it all the time. A good friend of ours. So there you go. Pop Culture Philosophers, and that's Robbie's pick of the week.
There we go.
All right, let's move on to our fan favorite. You know what this one is?
Was it good?
Was it good? Brought to you by, let's just say, Scout Comics.
All right.
All right. And you know what, Bob, you want to go first?
Sure.
All right. Let me set this one down. Let me see these books right here.
Sure thing.
Because these are the ones that you read. And Bob, here is Batman number 106. Bob, was it good?
It was all right.
Really?
It was all right.
All right.
I mean, you know, basically it's, you know, the new world that Batman lives in, and, you know, it's him and the, you know, the Ghostmaker.
Ghostmaker.
And, you know, so it was pretty much...
Otherwise known as Storm Shadow.
Yeah, whatever. Exactly. And it's just kind of setting up the fact that, you know, the whole end of the Joker war, now he's living in the city, creating little tiny bat caves, and... He's
little bat caves?
Little bat caves. Oh. He's a Poe man now, supposedly. And, you know, I mean, we have some good stuff being set up with Scarecrow, which I was intrigued by. And there's another thing called Mr. Highs or something like Maze or something like that. But it was all set up pretty much. And I'm not sure that I'm digging this new Batman vibe yet.
Oh, okay.
But we'll see where it goes.
What about the second story by Joshua Williamson?
I got 2 pages into it, saw it was Damian Wayne, and put it down.
Okay, never mind.
Don't like the character, sorry.
All right, so that's kind of ho-hum.
Ho-hum.
Not that big of a deal.
Not that big of a deal.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to your next one. Star Wars, The High Republic, number 3. He wanted to read a Star Wars book because he hadn't read one on here yet. Bob, was it good?
It was good. It was good. I mean, again, I think the first 2 issues were better. It does continue the story. The first 2 issues had a great pacing to it. This, I didn't feel the same pace. It kind of felt a little rushed. But I like the new character, Creeves, or I can't think of her name.
Aren't they all new?
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, she's the main character.
Sure.
And so I kind of like where the story's at. With her master has basically got some stuff with the dark side going on in him. And like I said, I'm enjoying the story, but the pacing in this one didn't match the first 2 books, so I was kind of put off by that. But other than that, it was good.
Kind of good?
Kind of good.
All right, not as good as the other ones.
Right.
All right, man. Noctera, number 1 by Image Comics. Bob. Was this one good?
It was good. I really liked this.
All right.
I don't think it's for everybody. It's kind of a superhero showing, and it's based upon at this one particular event that happens in the world where everything goes dark, and the people who are living in that darkness, they catch darkness like a disease and they become a shadow creature. And so we have this particular character who runs people from town to town, keeping them safe from these shadow creatures.
Yeah.
And it all revolves around this main character. I like the way the world is being built up, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I don't think she has superpowers.
No, but it's being set up like a superhero book.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't quite sure. They mentioned something in the beginning where her eyesight came back or whatnot.
Right.
Maybe she sees something a little differently now. But I don't know if she's just kind of a fighter or something like that.
Yeah, I think kind of the same thing with Riddick. He can see in the dark type thing. And
the Chronicles of Riddick?
Yeah, something like that. It kind of gives her an advantage. But I mean, the way the world is being set up, I really enjoyed it.
There you go. Hey, okay, so 2 of them were just okay, and you like that one.
I did.
Not bad. Honestly,
Not bad.
I'm proud of you. All right, man.
Oh, thank you.
All right, man.
All right, so let's move on to your Was It Good 3.
Okay.
All right, the first one we have here is Berserker. Berserker, number 1.
Again.
So Bueller,
Yes, Bob?
was it good?
Yeah. I thought I enjoyed it. It's action, it's bloody, it's violent, it's a Wolverine. I don't want to use the word knockoff, but really, I mean, come on. He's besides the bone claws, it's the same character.
Yep.
Even the long hair and all that stuff, the kind of the military background and everything, immortal, and heals himself or whatnot. But I thought it was a lot of fun. It was very violent from start to finish, and it kind of lived up to the name Berserker, I guess you'd say. And he just pretty much just takes care of business and kills people.
Yeah.
And if you like that type of stuff, this is exactly the book you should buy.
Right.
If you don't like people getting killed every page, then this is not the book for you.
This is true.
But I liked it. I thought it was great. Berserker number 1. It's nice to have a boom title coming out because something that's killing the children is taking a break for a couple months. So we got this in the meantime for a few months and ongoing for a little while. I think it's a 10 or 12-ish. I don't know for sure. But, yeah. Not bad.
Yeah, you told me when you read it, it was Wolverine. I found the same thing. I mean, the look, the violence, memory problems, man out of time. It's like it's all the same tropes are there, but it's far more violent, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. So very good. All right. So next one up on the list is Chariot number 1 by Upshot Comic. Was it Upshot? AWA Upshot. And so Bueller.
Yes.
Was it good?
Yeah, I thought it was great. And the first 8 pages are just artwork.
Really?
Yeah.
Quick read then.
Yeah, so it was a very quick, so perfect for me. Unlike the ice cream man last week. But no, it starts out, it kind of presents you with this car and this lady. She's like a secret agent or whatnot, and she drives off into the river and drowns or whatever and stuff, And then this guy, he's working at a junkyard, and he's kind of a former crook or whatnot. He's been in prison and stuff, and now he's owes the wrong people money and stuff like that. His family has medical bills, and his son is kind of going through treatments and stuff like that, for his health. And so he's kind of backed into a corner, and he's working at this junkyard, and he comes across this car. He's like, oh, it's really cool. It's unique looking and stuff. I'm going to fix it up. And the guys come to take their money back and stuff, like, hey, I don't have the money and stuff like that. And all of a sudden the car comes up to life and peels out and runs over all these people and stuff like that. Kind of like Carrie.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Kind of just
Christine,
like,
you mean?
Yeah, Christine or whatever it is. Carrie is kind of the same way. You guys are get a picture. But, and then he's like, oh, what's going on? And all of a sudden this mirage of the lady pops up like a hologram. And she's like, you don't seem like such a bad guy. why are these guys trying to kill you? And that's the end of the book.
Oh.
So, like, this car is possessed by the spirit of the former, private investor, private eye or whatnot that was, like, secret agent that had the car before. So, I liked it. I thought that's interesting.
So it was Christine before she became disgruntled and jealous.
Exactly.
Awesome.
It's a great book. Great book.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I didn't get a chance to read that one.
5 minutes.
I do have it. The next one I do not have because I didn't pick it up. I got this for you, though.
I find it hard to believe that you hadn't had that.
I don't.
Okay.
Okay.
What's it called?
It's called Casual Fling, also by AWA Upshot.
Yeah.
And Bueller. After all this time, was it good?
It's fantastic. It's about this lady, man. She's got a family. It's her husband stays at home with the kids and takes care of the kids while she's doing her business work and stuff like that. Because she's working for like a big firm and stuff. And she likes to step away because it's really hectic at the home. And the dad's like, "Oh my God, I got crap on me because the diaper leaked and he can't find the diapers and stuff like that." So he's really struggling. But she decides, "Oh, no big deal. I'll just go sleep with some dude." And so she does. She meets some guy at a bar, lies about it, and goes and does the naughty with him and stuff like that. And then she feels a little bit jealous, but not too jealous. Because she's like, "Oh, I needed it," or something like that. I guess that's what it is. And then, but the dude ended up to be kind of a creeper, and he records them having sex. And then
Serves her right.
Yeah. And so in the second issue, he's blackmailing her with the recording that they had sex and stuff like that. And by the way, she didn't hesitate to go to bed with this guy. I mean, he was literally within, "Hey, how you doing?" I know what we're doing. 2 minutes later, so she didn't wait. She eventually tells her husband, "Hey, I had sex and stuff like that with this dude." And the husband, he gets all freaked out. And he's like, "You're only telling me this because you're getting blackmailed and all that stuff." He's like, "You wouldn't have told me if you weren't." And then in the issue 2, he's like, "Send me the video. I want to see it," because the dude sent it to her. And so her husband wants to see the video of them doing the coitus. And so he watches the video and he gets all upset and throws the computer on the ground because he's staying at his mom's house and stuff. So all sorts of stuff going on, man. So she has to figure out what's up with this dude. Maybe she has to pay him off or whatnot. But, she let her libido do her speaking for her. She shouldn't have done that. You get what you deserve there, lady.
Yeah, yeah.
It was awesome.
Not the book for me.
Not the one for you? Yeah, you know what? I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
Good. Awesome.
There you go.
There you go.
Kind of the only 2 more to go, so. Only 2 more to go.
So those are great reads. I mean, you liked all of them this week, so.
Yeah, I had a good time reading, a really good time reading that one.
All right.
Don't we all? But,
what are you reading next week?
What am I reading next week? Let me take a look here. I wrote it down. I'm going to be reading Nonstop Spider-Man #1. That's a new Spider-Man title by Marvel. I'm also going to be reading Proctor Valley Road by Boom Studios, and I think that's by Grant Morrison, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. And then there's another book by a brand new publisher called Second Sight Publishing. I've talked about them in the past. It's called The Edge. And I met a bunch of these guys when I went to Florida. They had a booth set up, and I saw kind of a sneak peek of some of their books. And their lineup is just now starting to get released through Diamond. So this coming Wednesday, they have 3 titles coming out from Second Sight Publishing, and The Edge is one of them. And it looked pretty cool. So I'm going to give that a shot. If you guys find it at your LCS, give it a shot as well.
Sweet.
From what I can remember, it's kind of got a little 90s feel to it as far as artwork and stuff like that. So
nice.
That's what I'm going to be reading. What about you, Bob? What are you reading next week?
So next week, Daredevil number 28 comes out. I can't wait for that, so I'll be reading that. Next is a book that I really loved last month by Aftershock, which is Maniac of New York. So I'll be reading issue 2 of that. And The Joker #1 comes out. So I figured I'd give that a shot, and we'll see we'll see if it's good.
That's by Tinian.
By James Tynion.
That's pretty cool. Daredevil number 28 will be away from the tie-ins. So
I'm looking forward to it.
Back to the regular story. So
for sure.
They actually did a pretty good job with the tie-ins. So
I think so too.
We agree on that.
Yeah.
So. All right, so that's what we're going to read next week on the Was It Good segment of our show. Everyone likes this segment.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's kind of fun. But now we move on to our next segment. And our next segment is Random Thoughts with Bob and Bueller.
There we go.
You're the keynote on there. That's awesome. So we're going to talk about some random thoughts here and stuff. But the first one we're going to talk about is WandaVision. We've been kind of hitting on that for the last few weeks. And now we finally have the series finale that just aired a couple days ago. And Bob, what are your initial thoughts of the series finale of WandaVision?
So, nothing happened that I was expecting.
Yeah.
Right. But I absolutely loved it. So many amazing things happened inside of the finale. Unexpected things. I mean, we were talking before the show. I mean, technically, yes, she is the villain of the show.
She is the villain.
But when you get to the end, she doesn't feel like the villain.
A little bit.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, for me, the show was extremely special because
When you say she's the villain, we're talking about Wanda.
we're talking about Wanda.
Yes.
Right. But this particular episode was extremely special to me. If you know my comic book origin and how Even an Android Can Cry was the book that got me into comics.
Yeah.
And Kevin Feige found a way to pay homage to that book. And you see the teardrop fall from Vision's eyes. It hit me so hard. I must have bawled for 10 minutes straight.
Yeah.
So thank you, Marvel,
There you go.
for taking me to a place that was just amazing. It's like a little time machine.
There you go.
So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it immensely.
Now, some of the things you were hoping to happen didn't happen. Like there was no
Doctor Strange.
no Doctor Strange.
No,
There was-
nothing about the multiverse actually breaking open, and no mutants.
Yeah, no other big bad behind the scenes.
No other
stuff
big
like
bad,
that, which
yep.
is kind of what I said.
Yeah.
I said it's just going to be her, and that's it.
And you were right.
We're talking about her being the villain,
Mm-hmm.
and the reason why I bring Wanda up as being the villain is because really, when you think about it, she held hundreds of people against their will.
Yep.
And literally were torturing them,
Brainwashed them,
torture them, and then not to mention at the end when they finally confront her, okay, like please stop, she assaults them by choking them.
Right.
Okay, let's not forget that. Okay, these are just civilians. They're not. They're like that are being. They have been kidnapped and held and brainwashed and tortured. Okay, that's not a hero. That would be considered a villain. Now I understand what you guys are going to say. Well, but she is a hero and she let him go. That's not the way heroes and villains work. Okay, I mean you commit a crime, you do the time or whatever it is or something like that. And when she leaves, that one girl, the Rambo, she's like, "Oh, I'd do the same thing if I was in your shoes." Like, no, that's not how it works. If something happens in your love life, and people pass away, you don't get to hijack a city and kidnap hundreds of people and cause all this damage and harm to this city and their loved ones and stuff. That's not how it works.
Right.
Okay, I'm just putting that out there.
Right, but I mean, in a lot of these different, movies, we're starting to see the villains not be so cut and dry evil. There's usually things that happen that motivate what they're doing,
Yeah.
and it's not a good and evil thing. This is what's happening, the reason why, and we get to see Wanda do this while she's going through the pain and torment that she is. And so it's kind of a weird thing to get to the end of this, and you have the villain, but she doesn't feel like the villain by the end of it.
Yeah, you feel a little bad for her, but you have to put that aside. To be honest, you don't see. Well, he kind of did, but I mean, I don't know. Take Bruce Banner when Black Widow died, or whatever, or Hawkeye when Black Widow died. They don't go kidnap an airliner or whatnot,
This is true.
and hold them at will to pretend that their family is okay.
Right.
That's not what happened.
No.
But Wanda sure did. But anyway, it's just kind of fun when you think about it. When you really think about it, man, that Wanda, she's got some problems. But hopefully, because, and even the witch, the other lady,
Agatha Harkness.
Agatha, what'd she do? Did she really do anything wrong? She tried to stop her.
No, but she felt like the villain, right?
Yeah. All she wanted to learn how to do her powers. Did she hurt anybody?
Not really.
Not really. I mean, the only people she hurt was maybe the kids that weren't even real.
Yeah, I mean, or taking the dude hostage that was kind of Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Right, controlling him.
That was a whole other dumb thing.
I know, right?
That was a real letdown on that one. But when you think about it, it's just kind of interesting how they framed it and stuff like that. And obviously we didn't get a lot of stuff that people speculated on, and everyone's imagination ran wild. I mean, this is how it was. Who's he talking to on that phone? That's someone. Right. Oh my God. He looked at a thing on the computer screen. What's on that computer screen? That's how this was.
Yeah.
Every time somebody talked on the phone or looked on the screen or anything, like, who is that? I bet you that's Wonder Man. I bet you that's Fantastic Four. I bet you that's Superman, maybe. I don't know.
It's true.
And it was just the regular characters from the very first episode.
Yeah.
So there you go. It was fun. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it immensely.
I thought it was great. I loved the whole battle scene between the visions and stuff like that. And the fight scene between the witches and everything. I thought it was great. So another thing I wanted to hit on is that one book, and you mentioned a little bit earlier, the Bad Idea comics publisher or whatnot. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. They just released their first book this past week, and right out the gate, it kind of did exactly what I thought it would do, and it just spiked like $100 some odd dollars. I don't know, maybe more, $200-300. I don't
Depending
really
on depending on what it was, it spiked big.
Yeah, and I haven't even heard if it was any good.
It's actually really good.
Yeah. Okay. I look at that, and the whole thing about the Bad Idea, they have these things to where the retailers have to agree
to rules,
some rules in order for them to carry their product. Okay, and some of them are, I wrote them down here. These are some of the rules and some of the kind of the guidelines that Bad Idea is going. They're not doing second printing. What they're doing is not first printing. Okay, so they do the first print, then every print after that is considered not first print. They're not going to make them into trades. They're not doing any digital versions of these. They are doing direct sales to stores only. So they're not going through Diamond or Lunar or whatnot. So the stores purchase them directly through Bad Idea. Stores have to buy the same number of copies for every issue that they order. So if they order 1,000 copies of issue number 1, they have to order 1,000 copies of issue 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Right.
And that's something they signed up for when they bought them. I don't know if that's the pre-buy them or something like that, but that's kind of the deal. Whatever you buy, you have to buy the same amount of number for the following issues until it's over. Another thing, and I don't know if this is for true, but there's like no variants. Although I did see a couple different. Maybe the title was different or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so the main cover, the first print is white.
Yeah.
The not first print is got a black border on it.
Yeah, but it's the same cover though.
Same cover.
Okay, yeah. So very minor difference or whatnot. Not like a whole different cover or nothing like that. And another thing is they limit one per customer. The comic shops are supposed to limit one per customer, and they have to sell it for cover price for 30 days.
For the first 30 days.
For the first 30 days, for whatever the cover price is. So that's the guidelines that they have to follow by in order to get these Bad Idea comics. Well, what's your thoughts on this publisher is putting stipulation after stipulation on our comic shops?
I mean, I understand what they're doing, right? I mean, let's just face it, they're in it to make money, and they're trying to become the hottest thing on the market. I think we talked about it originally when their very first book came out, and it was kind of like a surprise deal. It just showed up at comic shops.
Yeah.
And so now here we are with their first offering, and truthfully, there's some things about this that just do not sit right with me.
Yeah.
And number one, comic shops, they live and die off their sales, and usually first issue they'll buy a certain amount of issues.
Yeah.
But usually the attrition for issue number 2 goes down 50% from issue number 1.
Did you know that they had to buy the same number?
I've seen the rules.
Okay.
Yeah. And so usually the after your first time buy, usually the attrition goes down almost 50% on issue number 2. So the comic shop won't have the ability to order less. They have to order the same amount. And to me, that's kind of a harsh stipulation, especially for some that live and die off their bottom line.
Yeah.
And the fact that not every shop can get it.
Yeah.
Right. Is I think a problem. And it just seems like they're trying to not only corner a piece of the business in direct comic sales, but they're also trying to drive the aftermarket as well.
Yeah.
And that's just what it feels like.
Yeah.
Now, truthfully, I wasn't expecting this book to come out because, I mean, based on the rules and stipulations, I don't know if I want to support them.
Yeah.
I think it was great that I got that first print inside of my box. By the way, I read it. It is good.
It is, okay.
But I'm immediately going to flip that sucker because I don't care about it.
Yeah.
Right? And so I will be, making money off of it.
Sure.
But really, when it comes down to it, I don't know if I'm on board with this.
Yeah.
It feels like so many stipulations for something where the comic industry is already hurting, and you're putting guidelines on there that benefit you, but not the shop.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
I kind of see that, and I have another point to make on that as well. My main thing is if the books are any good. I mean, there was so much buzz before it even came out. They were like selling for all this money. Nobody even read it yet. Nobody even knows it's any good. Is it even worth buying?
That's the other piece.
That's one thing. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. I don't care, limited stipulations, whatever. Is the book any good?
Yeah, you can make 2 copies and have that be the rarest thing in the world. But if it's no good, it's not
Nobody
worth
cares.
anything.
Yeah. My second thing is I look at all the stipulations that they put in the comic shops, and I just want to put yourself in the comic shop shoes. What if the comic shop said to you, you had to do that?
Yeah.
What if the comic shop said, hey, if you want to buy this, you have to follow these rules too? What if they said you couldn't sell it within 30 days? Or you could only buy, or you could, you had to buy all the issues to come out no matter whether you like it or not? What if that stipulation was put onto the customer? And that's just the way I look at it. You know, if everyone kind of looks like, oh, well, you know, you should always get it at a cover price at a comic shop or whatnot. And I get that, you know, to a certain degree. Mm-hmm. But if that comic shop sits there and says that to you, you're going to get pissed. Okay, you just said you're going to flip it to get rid of it. What if they said, no, you can't flip it?
Yeah.
Or if you do, you'll get banned.
Yeah.
Or what they say.
Here's your comic book back.
Yeah. What is it they said they banned people for life?
Right.
The comic shops that sold it for
I guess there was one that actually got banned here in the last week.
Yeah, and I saw that, and I think that's a little gimmicky, to be totally honest.
It's a gimmick.
I think it's a little gimmicky because we ban these people. This is how cool our book is. We're banning people. You know, it's like
or we have the power.
Yeah, type thing. It's like, and I even made a comment on something. I said, publisher that has one book, that's published one book and one issue, ban the comic shop. I think they're going to be okay. You know, I mean, I just put it out there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It is what it is. All I care about is if the book is any good. I hope I get a chance to read it. I'm a fan of Matt Kent. I think he wrote it.
Matt Kent was wrote it.
Yeah, he wrote Berserker and stuff, so I'm a fan of it. I just want to read it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about all the crap that goes along with all these stipulations, all that stuff. I think that's just dumb.
Yeah.
Just publish some books and put them out and give it to people an opportunity to buy them if they want them.
Exactly.
And don't make it. I mean, I heard this idea a year ago at the Comic Pro event. They pitched this idea back then. It was been on delay since then. Mm-hmm. Some of the shops really liked it. Some of the shops like, are you kidding me? Who are you guys?
Right.
You know, and I get that. You know, but you know, if to people right now, I'm going to tell you, if you could sell it right now.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. I mean, the only time when independent books go up is when they get an option for something. I haven't heard nothing. You know, any buzz around them as far as that. Right now, they're just high in price because this is kind of new and different, and I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm flipping that sucker, and I got my eyesights on Moon Knight #1.
There you go. Anyway, I'm hoping I get a chance to read it. So that's all I really care about. So I mean, but they don't come out digital. They don't do trades. So I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm not going to pay anything for it. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's that. I want to switch and kind of do a follow-up to last week's topic.
Yeah.
And what do you call it?
An addendum.
An addendum. What does that mean?
You're basically adding. It's like at the end of a book, you have anyway.
Addendum.
That's right. An addendum to the topic.
Okay. So the topic last week was keys, and just the influx of keys that have been brought to our attention from the app Key Collector. And not just them, other places as well.
YouTube channels.
YouTube channels, websites, you name it. Mm-hmm. And that's what it was about. And I totally forgot the whole reason I wanted to bring that up. There was 2 reasons. And I had mentioned to you, and for some reason I totally forgot to say them. The first one was, and I'd noticed over the last few weeks, is that all of the Future State books, every single issue was in the Keys of the Week. Issue 1, 2, 3, 4, it didn't matter. Every single series, every issue was considered a key of the week. Every one that came out. So, I mean, you guys can go look and see it. None of them were keys. I mean, maybe a couple were keys, but really, think about it. Were they keys? No. Okay, it was a hot series. It's kind of the flavor of the couple months for DC, and that's the only reason they were in there. Okay. Right. And also, every single tie-in for King in Black, the #1 selling book right now, was also listed in the Keys of the Week. Every one of them. Every single issue of the King in Black tie-ins were listed as Keys of the Week. And that's the reason why it kind of set off an alarm to me. It's like, why are those hitting so hard? Why are they getting that type of push?
Or why they're considered keys.
Or why are they considered keys? And I totally forgot to bring that up. And I had a bunch of numbers that support me, and I felt pretty good about it, when I was talking about it and stuff like that. But I just wanted to put that out there. Now, some people agreed with what I had to say about the keys and stuff, and some people didn't, and I didn't expect everyone to agree with me on my theory. Some people didn't agree with me, but by their own wording, they actually do agree with me, and I don't even think they realize it. And I'm sorry, but you go read your comment, and you contradict yourself in the same comment, and you proved my case for me. So it was like, even though they didn't agree with me, if you read it back, they did agree.
Right.
I love those. I love those.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to bring it up. I think that it is a problem. I think that the word key has lost some of its value. And we provided a solution. Our solution was for a key collector to just put all the books on there.
Yeah.
And just have a section where keys are considered keys and a section where books are not considered keys. It will take some time, but it's doable, eventually. And it's more product to be on there for people to buy.
Absolutely.
But they will know it's just a regular issue. It's nothing really significant about it. And I think that's what needs to happen. And hopefully eventually that does happen and stuff. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. And I also want to say thanks to Two Brothers Comics for doing a follow-up video. And Biggie Shack did one as well.
Yep.
And they talked about it and stuff like that. And, I think it's a good topic. I think it's something that just needs to be brought to attention. We're not trying to be mean to anyone, or whatnot. We're just saying, hey, what's this?
Just having a conversation.
And have a conversation, and an intelligent, legitimate conversation.
Right.
And there's all sorts of comments on there that wouldn't be qualified as intelligent ones. And for those people, take a hike.
There it is. No, it was a good topic. I really enjoyed it. And it did resonate with a lot of people. I mean, we had people making videos about it afterwards. So, and I do think it was something that did need to be talked about, and that's what we do here.
Yeah.
We're not trying to shy away from any subject. We do try to cover everything that we can, and I think it was especially when we see something like this, which could potentially push people in a direction that could hurt them.
Yeah.
And so we want to bring it up to talk about what truly is going on here.
Yeah.
And so I think by doing that we do a service to the community.
Sure.
And I mean, we're going to talk comics regardless.
Yeah.
Might as well talk about not just what we like, but also what's going on that could potentially be something we don't like.
Yeah. Now I do want to say really quick, and one thing I have noticed is that during the Keys of the Week section on the Key Collector app, okay, they're not, I don't know how many of them stay keys after that week. I don't know if you noticed this, but even though they're in a section that's literally called Keys of the Week, okay, 2 weeks later you might not be able to find that book on there.
Right.
And that's kind of interesting as well.
Yeah.
Because why was it a key when the day it came out? Because when do comics sell the most? The week they come out.
The week they come out, or when news buzz happens.
Yeah. Or I'm talking about new comics.
Right.
New comics. And this is just new comics. But when do new comics sell the most? Wednesday. The first day.
Yep.
That's it. Okay. That first 48 hours, if there's any buzz, they're gone. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's it. Now, they're on a section called Keys of the Week, and then a month later, they're nowhere to be found.
Yep.
That's interesting. Any other random thoughts that you have at all?
Not right now. I think we had a great show covering our LCSs, and it was a great addendum. We got some great thoughts. Our was it good section? I'm happy with that. So I'm content with the show.
As you're happy.
All
right, so that's our random thoughts. We're gonna wrap it up, but we do have a couple of quick announcements here, real quick. Next week's topic. Actually, almost 3 years ago, I made a video called "Pet Peeves of Collecting Comics." And it was actually the very first video I actually appeared on camera. It was literally February of 2018, so just about 3 years ago. And so we're going to be asking what are your pet peeves, dislikes, or what do you hate? I don't like using the word hate, but I'll put it out there.
Or what bothers you?
What bothers you about collecting comics or comics in general? And that's going to be our topic for next week. Now, the week after, we're going to go the other direction. What do you enjoy about comics? What are the special things about comics? Because we don't want to have one without the other.
Right.
So if you have any pet peeves about comics, save it for the preview video on Wednesday. leave a comment on there, and then we'll use some of those comments to probably agree with you.
This will be fun.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. All right, one more time, I want to remind you guys, go to that YouTube channel, Comic Book Food Chain. We're trying to get them to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the week. I'm going to feature them on all 3 videos this week, the top 10 and the preview video, and obviously this one. And I'll put a link down in the description and also in the comments. And it's also a featured channel on our website or on the channel site, so you can go from there. And let them know that Bueller sent you, and we're going to drive nuts. All his comments are going to say Bueller sent me.
There we go.
So anyway, Bob, anything coming up on your channel?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my review video out. I've got a few more comics to read, so hopefully I'll get that dropped by Monday morning. That's my plan anyway.
Yeah.
And then I have a special video where I'm going to be doing some shout outs this week to some people who have sent me some stuff just out of the blue, AOKs, which I'm really grateful for. And I kind of want to highlight those things.
Yeah.
So I'll be putting that out this week and just having fun, man.
Awesome. And I want to say congrats on your Kanto interview.
I had so much fun.
That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that and stuff. And they were game about the chalupa stuff, and I thought that was great. So I didn't feel too bad about that. So,
They're a great couple of guys, and I just felt like I was talking to a couple of friends.
Yeah, and they seem to enjoy you and your enthusiasm for the Kanto book, you know. And let me just tell you about the Kanto. I mean, I've never read it and whatnot. It's no big deal. I don't not like it. I just like giving him a hard time.
Right.
That's one thing against Kanto. It's just something I can just give Bob a hard time with.
Right.
That's the only thing that there is to it. But it's cute.
It is. It
Yes.
is. And I can't wait for the new books to come out. But really, on Monday night, it was the time of my life. I mean, just being able to talk with those guys and let them know my appreciation for it, and to hear, some of the stuff that they may be coming out with, which I'm really excited for.
Did you get to watch Robbie's interview with him?
I did, with Robbie.
He geeked
He
out.
fanboyed out, boy.
Man, Robbie, keep it together, man. I was like, what's wrong with him?
He was excited.
He was excited.
That was cool.
I got a big kick out of that because he was a little nervous.
He was.
What are you going to do, right?
Right, what are you going to do?
Like the shirt says, what are you going to do?
For sure.
All right, everyone, that's our show for you today. Thank you so much, and thank you to all the comic shops that was brought to our attention. Hopefully that helps everyone out. If you're in the area and you hear some of those ones that are close to you, go visit them.
Yeah, go check them out.
Tell them Bueller sent you.
There you go.
And Bob, too. All right, you want to take us out, Bob?
Sure
since you're
thing.
a professional now?
I'm a professional now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what to do. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Awesome. Just awesome. Bye.